Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of the Lookout Podcast. I'm joined by the incredible Mariel Leslie. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate you coming out on such a hot day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's really shifted the weather here locally, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
It's acting like summer again.
Yeah, when I was talking to you a week or so ago, I was like, oh, perfect, because this thing's a hot box. I'm like, it'll be cool, it'll be nice. Just open up the door. I think I got a little tear sweat just right now. The air conditioning's kind of working. I got EcoFlow Wave 2 going, and we'll see if it survives the whole time, but it's kind of knocking the edge off a little bit. But Mariel, you are longtime Forest Service, I guess outdoors employee, because you started with Fisheries, right?
Yes.
And then you went to nursing?
It's been a complicated journey. I call them past lives.
Yeah.
Started in Fisheries right out of college. That was my first major. And then...
where at? I forgot to ask you where at.
School?
Fisheries.
Started Fisheries, so I've worked in northeastern Montana in Fort Peck with Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
Very
Montana
cool.
Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. Did a season there. Did a summer season in Miles City with the Bureau of Lands Management. And I was trying to get another job with the BLM, and that fell through. And I have my brother-in-law. It's kind of a whole family affair here on the Bitterroot.
Yes.
Now it is. He wasn't on the Bitterroot then. My brother-in-law was on fire and then showed me how to get a job. So I jumped on that for a season, went back to Fisheries, worked in Michigan with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So I've been all over the federal game.
Yeah, in different areas. We're still in Montana, but eastern Montana is a different beast than western Montana.
Totally different. But yeah, just to finish that thought, went back to fire for a few seasons here on the Bitterroot. Was on the hand crew, helitech crew, engine.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I can't seem to just sit in one spot. I'm always interested in learning something new. So I went and did that.
Yeah.
And...
kind of the full Bitterroot tour, which is nice.
Full Bitterroot tour.
Yeah.
And got this wild hair and went off and became an EMT for a bit, and that transitioned to trying my hand at nursing, and quickly discovered that was not suited for the patient care world. It's a certain type of person that can do that aspect of nursing, and I am not one of them.
Me either. My brother is. I'm not. Nope. I can't do it.
Mm-mm. So, as fate would have it, we were back in Hamilton, working here at the hospital, and job came open here on the Bitterroot, and my old colleagues knew I was in Hamilton again, and they were looking for a fisheries biologist, and they're like, hey, aren't you Fisheries? I'm like, yeah, still.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while, but so now I've been the fisheries biologist at the West Fork Ranger District for going on roughly 18 months, give or take.
Oh, awesome. Man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You're so knowledgeable. It's like when I talk to you, it's just like, I feel like you've been doing it forever. And, I guess I've been around you quite a bit, So it's like, I didn't realize it was only 18 months.
Yeah, only 18 months. But the fisheries biologist, that consultation world, we call it, you just drink from a fire hose, and you just got to catch yourself. If you want to be successful, just catch yourself up as soon as possible and be a quick study.
Well, that's what probably really helped about you jumping around a little bit, though, because you never really get comfortable, right? You get your feet underneath you, and then you see the next goal, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm going to that. And so you're constantly learning and having to be the sponge,
Yeah, totally. For better or for worse, I'm quite the sponge, I guess you could say. So, it worked out in this, and I guess having a background in just how federal agencies operate, I didn't have to learn that part, which can take a lot of people a long time if they come from another world and have to learn all the hoops and red tapes and 10 steps to do anything in the federal system.
Yeah.
So that saved me a lot of time, and I already knew the Bitterroot, so I can just dive right in because I 4 seasons and lived here on and off for the past 10 years. So.
Yeah, so that's huge. Yeah, like you said, and touching on what you said about the red tape and just projects that I noticed when I got on fire, especially feels fire's pretty straight. Hey, we're attacking this thing, and you get the green light to do full suppression, you just go, and then typically what we do. But you get outside of the fire world, it's like it's like making sure everybody's in the loop on things. So if you leave something behind, it could be a bad deal,
Yes.
So it's like talking to everybody, like the ranger and whoever else is involved in it, NEPA and all the things. And
Yeah.
I don't think I knew what NEPA was until I got out of fire.
Yes, I'm. My husband works still in fire world, and I start talking non-fire jargon, and he's like, "Why can't you just go out and go cut these trees?" And I'm like, "Well, I would love to. There's laws that say I can't."
Yeah, there's more to it.
There's more to it than that.
The great Michael Leslie. Justin, Abby, and Danny mentioned him quite a bit in their podcast.
Yes.
That was awesome. So I keep throwing him out there as a teaser. So one day when he comes on, it'll be great.
We'll rope him in.
Yeah.
We'll rope him in.
He's got such a good story, but he's like, all of us, even like you a little bit probably, were like, I don't know. Everyone's doing this job. But no, you guys are everyone's individuals, and everyone's got their unique story,
Yeah, certainly. And yeah, he's got we'll rope him in. He's got a good story to tell. And he's a great, I married him for a reason. He's a good positive figure.
He is, yeah. Oh, one of the funniest dudes I ever met, I think. It was such a gift, I guess, to be in there in dispatch with him that one winter when me and him were just helping out because there was no one there. So, like, I didn't know him. He didn't know me. And I think we ended up on, like, opposite ends of that giant room. And, like, I don't know, I'd be working on something or messing with something. And then he'd just say something, like, real random and, like, super funny. And just, like, totally set the tone. It was great.
Yeah. Yep, that is my life.
Yeah, such a big brain. Well, both you guys, such smart folks. So it's awesome being around you guys. And then I guess I'd kind of dive right into this part, though. Like, unfortunately, like, you got terminated earlier on, and I'm glad I guess I drug my feet up, but I kind of wish I would have had the podcast then. But I'm glad you're back, is why I brought that up. And also what I was bringing up is because for folks who don't know, like, I think a lot of people realize, like, the agencies were under attack, and, like, depending on who you talk to, there was probably some waste in some areas. Maybe. I don't know, because I'm not there. But the way, at least it trickled down on the Forest Service side, was it cut the legs off of the organization in a matter of speaking, because it, like, the trail crew went away, Fisheries went away, and all these boots in the ground folks were gone.
Yes.
And no warning, just like, because you just got like a call on like a Friday or something, right?
Yeah. Our boss of bosses, our forest soup, called me directly and said, "I'm so sorry. I tried really hard, tried to argue your case," and he did that with every single individual, tried to find some sort of loophole to keep us on. And from what I understand, the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, was just like, nope, no exceptions.
Yep.
Unless it was a very obvious error in paperwork, which there was not many of those. You're done. Yeah,
and I was keeping my ear to the ground on it because I was trying to help wherever I could, and I thought I was going to, because I was in partnership, and that's another, like, rhyme or reason. Like, I think I'd been in partnership as long as you had been in Fisheries, so it was like, I don't know why, like, I didn't get on the chopping block, because I was in a new position. I was out of fire, but they said I'd, like, prior service, but so did you. So
yeah, but it had to be prior permanent service.
Oh, gotcha.
So you're seasonal, and they're trying to change that. Our local NFFE union is trying to change that for firefighters, who will set the precedent. Seems like firefighters in the federal system get they're kind of like the charismatic species of the federal government, so to speak. So if something's affecting our firefighters, it's easy to get changes there, and then they are the ones who set the tone.
Almost the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah, a bit. And so it's easy to get people on board with supporting those, and then they set the tone, and then those changes that benefit the firefighters do eventually trickle down. So that's all to say, our local union, NFFE Chapter 60, and their other chapters are trying to, where was I going with that? Trying to
the seasonal to perm.
Trying to get their seasonal time to count towards permanent, more in the sense of benefits
Yeah.
and retirement time.
Yeah.
But also just, we never worried about this until now, as far as, you're a permanent, you're under a 1 year, or sometimes, like in my case, a 2-year probation period, which is incredibly long.
Yeah.
Most private standards, it's about 6 months. And so the fact that the federal government has a 1 year for, I'll call them normal hires, for, straightforward hires for any, and then 2 years for any
special hires.
Special hires. I was hired under what the system called Schedule A, which is, amongst others, a couple other reasons why you can get brought on for Schedule A, but it's, the main one is folks with, say, veterans and folks with disabilities.
Yeah, 'cause
right.
I'm a Schedule A as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't do fire anymore. Like physically, I couldn't do it, so I got Schedule A. And on two of those things that I want to touch on, which I'm really glad you brought it up, is the seasonal time. Is like when we were coming up, and a lot of folks in the Forest Service, not just us, but like our age folks. I think I had like 15 seasons or something crazy, like before I got my perm. And it wasn't for lack of trying. It was really hard to get a perm in the fire world when I was coming up, and so none of that counts towards my retirement. None of it counts towards anything really. And luckily, I guess I got my perm in fire before I got Schedule A out because I got too sick, and got to stick around. But yeah, it's terrible. And then, there's another point I was going to make about that you had said, and I was going to tag onto it, but my brain's wiring a little bit. It's the heat.
It is. Yeah, you, with the 15 seasons, I have a technician that works under me who has 30, just shy of 30 seasons.
Oh yeah, I got to work with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played football for UM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And 30 seasonal seasons. He was he's a teacher in the teacher during the school year. He's retired now. Teacher during the school year and fisheries technician in the summer. Just shy of 30 seasons, and he was fired with me. Oh,
I didn't know he got terminated too. Jeez,
because
man.
They converted a lot of those seasonals, we call them, to a different type of seasonal where they're permanent, but they only are scheduled to work so many pay periods of the year.
Yeah, like 13 or
13,
something.
13, 18 and 8.
Yeah.
This one's 13 and 13.
Yeah, 13 months on, 13. Yeah, it's not
13 pay periods on.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
Not months. Math is math.
So, he, in an effort to increase his pay and give him a higher GS level and make him a permanent and give him access to more benefits because he's done so many seasons with us, it failed him. They fired him. And he's back. We're all back. But easily the most stressful, top 3 most stressful periods of my life, hands down.
Oh yeah, and super frustrating. And actually, after this podcast, I might release it. I did a little video, like I don't know if there's a nickname for it, but I'll call it like the Black Friday or something event. When that weekend happened, I was like driving through Lee Metcalf, just like soaking it in. How beautiful that place is, and I was just like, just getting frustrated because. For folks who don't know, I wish there was like an example I could think of off the top of my head, but there's been a few like campsites where you were just like, they for some reason wasn't working out, and it was on the Butte Jefferson, the one I'm thinking of specifically off of I-15, and I don't know why, but it just kind of like was going away on its own. No one was really using it, so we just like closed it down. Within like a year, that place was like back to the forest, and it's like that's all of our rec sites, all these things would go away, and then. Also, another thing I want to talk to you about was the dams that you've been working on too, the human dam building that like is disrupting our would it be fisheries?
Fisheries and waters.
Waters, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's like there's a lot that gets maintained that people don't see behind the curtain, and then to take those away, and especially like what I was really frustrated about was like the trails crews going away, and especially the because that was the surface thing. That was the first thing I thought of was like. Trails crew in the Bitterroot and trails crew in the Bob Marshall Wilderness.
Yes.
It's like, those are, that's what the public relies on to get in the backcountry.
Yes, and those people are still gone because the government offered another acronym called the DRP, the Deferred Resignation Program.
Yes.
And everyone on the trails program on the Bitterroot took it.
Yep.
And I don't blame them. And a lot of them took it, said this is too stressful, this is too unknown, and they said I'll go do something else. And
yeah, get some guaranteed money for a short period, and then try to find something else.
Totally. And so the impact of that is my office sits really close to the front desk at the West Fork, so I can overhear when folks call in and have questions for that our gal who has to answer all of those. She's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, hats off to her.
And a lot of folks are calling in asking, hey, what's the condition of this trail? What's the condition of this trail? Hey, I was up this one and it hasn't been maintained. It hasn't been cut out of trees so the horse and stock can get through it. And all she can say is, oh, I'm sorry. We have nobody here. We're under a hiring freeze. We can't hire people. And the people that were able to do it are gone.
Yeah.
And
it's a huge impact.
Right. And those people that call in, they say, well, you guys said it in February or in January that you were going to have this trail done. And she said, we're sorry. We would love to have these. And the trails is just one example, right, of
many
of a lot of our services that the government, and I shouldn't say just the government. Well, yeah, I can say the government, but my experience is in like the land management side of it, that aren't able to happen because we're understaffed, because their plan was semi-effective.
Yeah, semi-effective. And that's the thing, too, is like, we were talking about this right before we started, so I'll touch on this, too, is that Chief Moore, the previous chief, when I'm pretty sure it was like right after he got in the position, well, maybe about midway through, but it was a while ago now. And I think it was an email, and I think in one of his talks, he had said, like, we're not treating, I think was his words, people fast enough. Like, people aren't retiring fast enough. So, like, right away there was a problem. We identified it, right? Like, we're not getting any turnover. We're bottlenecking. People aren't getting, I think we're losing folks a little bit there because they weren't able to get in the next position. And especially, like, as most people know, if you live in Montana, Colorado, California, anywhere in the north, or anywhere now really, but the Pacific Northwest, like, it's so expensive, and an entry-level Forest Service person can barely afford to live. And by that I mean they usually have roommates, like a GS5,
right?
And so it's like we're already kind of losing folks slowly because of that, because they weren't able to climb the ladder. So there's a problem identified already of like not getting turnover. So it's like, why don't we fix the problem and offer some kind of better retirement, some kind of incentive? And that's what I was hoping when like they're first talking about like consolidating or like slimming down the agencies. I was like, oh well, some folks that are ready to retire, so maybe we'll just like give them a little better package, and then or like be better for like a permanent fix, like so that folks will get like get your 25 in, maybe 30, and then it should be like that sense where it's like you're not making any more, so there's really no reason to stick around unless you get like some project that you've been working on your whole career and you're about to finish it,
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting. I wish that had been the case. Also, a couple thoughts on that.
Yeah.
One is, I think that when Chief Moore was saying we're not seeing enough attrition, and what he's saying is we're getting too many locked in at those higher levels and they're not retiring out.
Yeah.
It's a symptom. It's a symptom. And is it a symptom of, well, we have an older baby boomer generation who's reaching that retirement age, and we just have a much larger population of those aged workers who are now at that upper management level. Yeah. They're not quite ready to retire, or some of them are just getting there. And we haven't transitioned over to the Gen Xers being ready for retirement and these other generations. So I think that that's part of it.
Oh, yeah.
And so does that mean that the system's broken? Maybe not necessarily. That's just what was happening. Yeah. The other reason you're probably not seeing a lot of attrition is, as we all know, working for the government before this year was great, right? The benefits are really nice. The annual leave we accrue, the sick leave we accrue, our work environment, especially, and we can only speak for the land management, Forest Service, BLM side, but those benefits that our federal workers get are awesome. Why would you leave that if you don't have to?
Yeah.
Right. So they kind of, maybe they bit themselves a little bit there and made the environment a little too cush. Do I want that to change? Absolutely not, because I'm benefiting from it right now.
No, totally.
Right? But
no, I think there could be some of that too. And I was just thinking while you're talking, there was a retirement plan before furs, I think, that was like really good, and that's why people would like bail. And then they changed it. So I guess that's what like I was kind of thinking about before. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, during all this, there was a whole bunch of acronyms flying around, and all of them are, all of them were phases in the reduction in force process.
Oh yeah.
Some of them were. The one you're referring to is called the Vera.
No. I'm talking about like one way back, like
a long time ago.
Early 2000s or 90s. Like if you got in before then, you still were in it, and it was like before furs. Like because we're in the furs program.
Yeah. It was like a pension.
Yeah, it was better. So people like would retire. And the reason why I was thinking about that, and I should have started with that, is Bernie Sanders was on Rogan, I think, recently, and he was even talking about like the private sector pensions and stuff being not very good. So even like in the private sector, they're having trouble with people like being able to afford to retire. Mm-hmm. So that's, I guess, where my brain was going with that.
Yeah.
So I should start with that.
Yeah. So, again, if we had a good system, especially you've got perhaps a pension on top of your 401k.
Yeah.
Stick with it, right, until you retire. And then in the federal government, they call it second retirement, right?
Oh, yeah.
You start collecting your first once you reach, it's 20 years for fire service and 25 or 30.
I think it's 25.
25 for non-fire folks. And they call it second retirement, where you start collecting that, and then you can keep working, and then collect, and I think you can work up to 10 years beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
Within the federal government.
So, man, I mean, not a lot of reason to stay out, I
right.
guess.
And to get to your one of your first points about Chief Moore wanting to find ways to encourage retirement and to encourage attrition at an appropriate time, not with the axe like we experienced.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember if he had a plan, but I remember him bringing it up, and I was thinking yeah, I wonder what's going on there. And that's when I talked to somebody who'd been around for a little bit, and he was saying, the retirement program before the furs was much better, so people were more hit that retirement date unless they had some extra reason to stay. They're like, man, I'm not making any more money. I might as well go enjoy my time off and bail out instead of now I think there's a little bit of dip. I can't remember the percentage once you retire, but so you really got to set yourself up. So I think people are having to work longer. I mean, there's some folks I was talking to recently that had 40 years in and stuff. It was 40 is a lot.
It is a lot. And I think we're getting at systems that aren't just something that the Forest Service, the chief, even has any say over, right? These are federal high-level systems that apply to all federal workers. Yeah. This is the retirement system for all federal workers, just about.
Yeah.
And
totally.
And you start saying you're going to touch retirement, or you're going to touch trying to find a way to get people to leave, and you're going to have to do a lot of careful talking and education to get anybody on board with that.
Totally.
Right? And so it's a hard sell.
It is, yeah.
And so the simple solution and the fast solution, not the right solution, was, let's fire the people that have no appeal rights.
Yep, the easy ones, the easy targets, right? The folks who didn't have the the protection. What the heck was it? There's a word for it, right? That has hiring rights or something. I can't remember the word is.
Oh, there is a right for it. There is a word for it.
Yeah. God dang it.
But basically, the people that were under probation have a harder case to make.
Yeah.
And they blocked up the system at the appeals level.
Yeah.
So we were easy. They thought we were easy targets. Of course, when you do anything too fast, you're bound to probably not do it right. So that's why I'm back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And I don't think they probably expect the blowback of the public as much, because it was great. And that's the great thing about social media and stuff, is that the word got out that hey, we got rid of some really important folks. This isn't just some folks are just like sitting in cube land, you know, like throwing paper airplanes at each other. You know, it's like this is boots on the ground. Like I wish I remember the fellow's name, but he works for the Park Service. He's back. He was in education, and I can't remember exactly what his position was, but it was like, you know, super sad story, similar to yours, like getting a dream job, and then all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from under you in a position that matters. Like educating the youth on the importance of outdoors and education and like plants, animals, all the things. Like it's awesome. It's great, and the importance of why we need these places. You know?
And those were the things that were affected. And like you said, it was great that we had some really loud voices, right, between our union representatives and just people being willing to speak to the press, whether with their name or anonymously.
Yeah. Huge.
Taking to their own social media, like getting the word out of just what we do. And actually, I think a side benefit of that is, as I've been out doing my field work this summer, I run into campers and answer questions, and then I help with fire logistics and stuff. And I've heard more phrases along the lines of, I appreciate the work you do. Thank you for doing the work you do. You know, things like that this summer than I've heard my entire career, which is really great. It's been a nice side benefit. Like all of this has highlighted the work that we do, especially the land management agencies during this whole firing. We're definitely under the spotlight because Americans want public lands. They're very much in favor of public lands. You know, it's the classic North American model that is modeled across the rest of the world now.
And envied by most of the world.
Exactly. You know? And, you know, no matter which party you're part of, people are protective of our public lands, right? And respectful of those that are in charge of caring for the people's lands.
Totally.
So that's been a good side benefit of that.
Yeah, definitely like a big silver lining. And, you know, the unifier, I mean, like the public lands battle that was going to Nevada and Utah recently that we all like were rallying for. And, it's great to see because I think maybe we talked about this, but I interviewed a fellow, Travis Hall from Field and Streams, awesome guy. And he brought up some fishery stuff that I wasn't even like on my radar. But I was thinking about you. I was like, oh yeah, my friend, I don't know if they ever mentioned my name, but I was like, oh yeah, my friend's in fisheries. And, you know, like I didn't even think about like those things like the bull trout habitat and like the human dams that you're getting rid of and all these other things that like if you weren't around wouldn't be getting done, you know? Yeah.
Just a quick backstory on that. I have been, just to explain what you're talking about, recreationists, because they don't know, they go to a creek, a dispersed campsite, or a established campground, and they want to sit in a deeper pool or keep their beers cold or something, some reason, or they're bored. And they build these giant rock dams across streams, and they just don't know and perhaps don't think about the potential impacts of that. And so what I've been doing when I do stream surveys, or if I'm doing a fisheries survey, we walk up those streams and we find them, and they prevent fish from being able to move. Yeah, I mean, some fish probably could work their way through them if they tried really hard, but generally these dams are built where fish can't get through them easily.
Yeah.
Usually maybe the biggest fish could like jump over this, but in order for that to happen, they need these like deeper pools below the dam, and those aren't there. Basically what I'm saying is these fish aren't getting past this, and the recreationists don't know that. And if I wasn't there doing my other work, we wouldn't know this, that those were there. There wouldn't be anybody there to take them out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I spent last week doing.
Yeah.
I've torn down 4 or 5 of them up on my district.
Yeah, I've seen a couple videos, and if you want to shoot your social media out so folks can see it, it's up to you. You don't have to.
Yeah. I'm starting to post a little bit more about my work. So my handle is just Girl with the Dragon girl with the magpie tattoo on Instagram. I'm moderately active on it, getting more on there, just to get that word out there.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to get you to say it too, because it's been great. Like the one that I saw, I think this morning or this afternoon, where you're like giant logs and huge rocks that you were clearing.
Yes, the size of these rocks were 100 to 150 pounds. Like some of these I couldn't move myself. I'm a fairly fit and strong person, especially for a woman. And I was not able to, I was like pushing them and rolling them and I was exhausted by the end of it. It took me 2.5 hours to take one of these rock dams out. And that's me just like mindlessly rolling and tossing these rocks. So equate that to the amount of time that people had to thoughtfully place these rocks in order to block the flow. And then there's cut logs. People are using chainsaws to cut logs in order to add to it. And they're pushing gravel up against the bottom. And like, it isn't, if it weren't so detrimental to the stream and to the fish population and how that whole system works, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Like it is an impressive amount of work. I would estimate days to build that.
That's what I was wondering, because that one that I saw you dismantling today, I was like, holy cow. Like,
yeah.
Man, that was huge.
Yeah. These like, when you're in the gym and you're doing those like 100 or 75 pound sandbag carries.
Yeah.
That's like, this is the first time I actually had to like employ that method to move that much of weight.
Tighten up the core.
Yeah, I felt like a strong trying to like do that.
Like those Atlas stones.
Yeah, like an Atlas stone, exactly.
Yeah, that's where my mind was going when you were saying that too. And those guys at least got like tack on so they can at least grip it. Like you're in the water.
I know. I'm just like this little 145 pound woman in waders, like trying to get these rocks out of the way.
Moving water.
Yeah.
Man.
So, but that's why we're here. That's like this. That is the function of the scientists and the fisheries professionals and the other resource professionals with the Forest Service. Like we're not just wildland fire, we're land stewards.
Yes. Right.
And that's what you miss out on when we're not there.
Yeah.
And there's a whole other side of my job that we haven't even touched. But as far as just like being physically out there on the land, helping to just simply take care of it.
Yeah. Totally.
That's lost.
Yeah, and keep the balance, right? Because like you said, they probably don't know. They're just like, I'm gonna make this a little nicer for myself.
Right.
Like what's the big deal? Move some rocks, and they don't know. So if you run into them, you give them the education on it. You dismantle it so the fish are gonna keep thriving, and it just keeps the balance going.
Yeah.
Do you do? It just kind of hit my brain because I was just thinking about like other jobs in the Forest Service. eDNA studies for the harlequin ducks.
I was not part of that. That is really cool that they're doing that. That's the wildlife guys that do that.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yeah.
That is such a beautiful bird.
Yeah. Harlequin ducks are really cool, and the reason that I can speak to it though. The reason that they're listen to me nerd out here.
Yes.
Just a second.
That's what I was hoping for.
The reason that they're kind of special out here in Western Montana is it's the farthest inland that they come.
Oh.
So the farthest inland that come, they're a Pacific Northwest, Pacific coastal bird.
Oh.
And their migration pattern is eluding me right now, but essentially this is the farthest inland that they come, and perhaps the farthest south that they come to rear their young.
Oh, gotcha.
And so it's really cool. And the eDNA, environmental DNA that you're talking about, was basically sampling the water to see if harlequin ducks were present in the Selway River. We know for a fact that they're present up in the crown of the continent, up Glacier National Park.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not sure why this is getting into harlequin duck biology that I'm not fully up on, but I'm sure there's like perhaps a historical range or some maybe eyewitness reports of seeing harlequin ducks out in the Selway River. And so our biologist, Mike Foster, and his group were out there last summer, and I think they might be continuing it this year also.
Oh, very cool.
To do that.
Yeah. 'Cause, like those kind of studies that would like go away if we got dismantled? Those are the kind of things I think about, you know, like the only reason why I know about it is because the Trapper natural resource students were out helping out with it. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I got to do like a report on them, and I was like, and one of them kept calling it Edna. He's like, yeah, we're doing the Edna studies. I'm like, what is an Edna study instead of eDNA? So I'm like, what is it? And like, so I wrote down Edna in my notes, and then like they gave me a bunch of photos, and I was like looking at the photos from them by the stream and stuff. And were you on that too with the Trapper students?
I was not on there with the Trapper students, but
It looks cool. Yeah, and I was like, so I like Googled it, and I knew it was Harlequin duck, so it came up eDNA on the Google search. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Because I'm like, what is this Edna thing?
Yep. So eDNA is environmental DNA, and it's a kind of a complicated name for a simple concept. Basically, we take a giant, in this case, water sample. That's the easiest to do. I guess you can do it with dirt and air, but I mean, water's the easiest to filter. You run it through a giant microfilter with a pump, and you take that little filter. It looks like a coffee filter, but it's like specially designed. And you ship it off to a lab, and they just sample that sample for DNA particles of whatever you're looking for. And that sample will contain everything that's in the river within a certain distance.
That's really cool.
And then you can separate it out and find what you're looking for. And you can so they're using it for threatened and endangered species that are really rare and hard to find. Harlequin ducks, we use it for bull trout. As they become more rare, they're a threatened species. And the other use for it is aquatic invasive species detection. Again, rare things that you hope that you don't find easily.
Zebra mussels,
quagga mussels, New Zealand mud snail. Yeah, just another.
Same thing as like zebra, but different.
Yep, another same thing, just another invader from Europe.
Pain.
The Great Lakes. Well, they're all in the Great Lakes, and they're all migrating this way. And it's just another one that
popped up,
clogs up pipes.
Yeah, dams and stuff too, right? The big turbines, they'll build up on them.
Yep, they'll build up on the turbines. They clog up filter pipes and all that infrastructure. And then the other thing that's a problem is they're a filter feeder. Man, this is quite the tangent.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
They're a filter feeder, and so, but when you get too many of them, they almost filter the water too well.
Oh, I didn't know.
And so some ponds and lakes are dependent on being kind of murky. And when it's kind of murky, it blocks the sunlight from getting through. And it keeps the amount of plant growth down. But when these mussels get in and they explode in population, and there's too many of them, they over-filter the lake or whatever water that they're in, and it becomes too clear. So then you have this drastic shift, and you get these algae blooms, and it's a nightmare, and it ruins the system that way as well. So that's the environmental impact of them.
That sucks. Yeah, 'cause I remember when, I think it was Lake Michigan or something, I heard someone talking about it, like, man, I can see the bottom, from the pier. This is great.
Yeah,
really
not good.
Yeah, it's like, oh no.
No, a little murkiness is actually good for most things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like it's the temperature and everything, like not getting as much magnified sunlight, and then beating with the plants or whatever too.
Yep.
Yeah, the Harlequin thing is super cool. And then that leads to my next question. Well, more not really a question, more like an explanation of why that people saw this video, probably the Sherp going down the middle of the Blackfoot because they're spraying weeds.
Oh man!
And like in the video, if folks saw it, a fishing guide, I believe it was explaining like going right to the bull trout habitat, which for sure, but it's even more than that, right? Because it's like I guess I'll let you explain, but rock, what's the like insects in the rocks and stuff, stoneflies and stuff, right?
Yeah, aquatic insects. So if no one has seen this video yet, if you're listening to this podcast and you're at all interested in natural resource conservation or anything like that, you've surely seen this video. But and Montana Trout Unlimited reposted it, so you can see it there on their Instagram.
Yeah, and
that's where I got the explanation from. But basically, to describe the video, there was this giant, I'd never heard of this machine before, but apparently it's a thing. Men and their toys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It looks like that, doesn't it?
It totally does.
It's this giant off-road machine with huge tires that are almost as big as the cab of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And it was literally driving down the Blackfoot River. And yes, the Blackfoot River, as the guide said, is a bull trout habitat, and very likely was driving through bull trout, like spawning gravel. And I mean, there's other fish in too there, right, that are important. We have our cutthroat trout and a bunch of other species that no one talks about.
True. There are probably some whitefish floating around there.
Whitefish and suckers and sculpins, little feeder fish, dace and things like that other fish feed on.
Yeah.
Those are all in there. And
crawdads probably too.
Yep, we've got a native crawdad species that are definitely in there. And like I said, their food supply, which is all of the mayflies and the caddisflies and the stoneflies and that whole food base. They live on those rocks, and they are in there, and they kind of need a very specific habitat type depending on the species. And this machine just drove down 8 miles of the river, and hugely impactful. And a lot of the comments on that video were along the lines of, "Well, there's nothing you can do. We don't. That surely isn't illegal." But in fact, it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't do a project just to like fix a culvert, surely there's driving a vehicle down the river
there's gonna be some
would be
NEPA
illegal.
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's a thing called the 310, amongst other permits that this vehicle needed in order to do that, which they would never grant.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, conspiracy theorist in me says that's why they didn't get the permits, is because they know that they would have never allowed this
thing.
They got
turned down already. Yeah.
Right. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes, I think, is probably the approach of this group.
Yeah, imagine.
There's a thing called a 310 permit that's issued by each county. It's a county conservation district permit for stream bed disturbance. It's called a 310 here in Montana.
Oh, gotcha.
And Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks has another one for stream bed and wildlife disturbance. That's a 124 permit. Or getting pretty jargony here. But anyway, there's all sorts of environmental permitting that these guys had to do, and they definitely did not do it. They're under investigation. It was a group of weed sprayers that the county, the name of the county is escaping me right now up there.
I thought it was something with a P for some reason.
Powell.
Yep.
Powell County.
Yeah, I think it's Powell. Yeah.
Powell County hired them to do the weed spraying, which was, they did have a permit for the weed spraying part along the stream. That was legal. That contractor never said anything about their plans to drive this machine down the river.
Giant off-road machine. Yeah.
And so that was the big controversy, and people were outraged, which is great that they were outraged. They were very quickly reported, and they're under investigation right now. And I would be surprised if they are ever allowed to touch any rivers in Montana ever again.
Yeah, they just burned that bridge hard.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's great too, because like you said, it's the education part of it, right? Like I think back even when I was a kid, like it was like, oh, who cares, just like, rednecks probably doing that stuff anyways, and it's like now people are like, oh no, that's killing like our livelihood, like river runs through it. I think it wasn't a big chunk of it filmed on the Blackfoot. I think. Yeah,
the whole thing.
Yeah, so I didn't know the whole thing, but that's cool. Yeah, so it's like, it's pretty precious to the Missoula area, It
is, yeah, especially the Blackfoot, that movie, and it's just, and
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It does support a really robust bull trout population of big migratory-sized bull trout, which is pretty special. You don't see that too much here anymore, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Is that because of dams, the migratory thing?
A lot of it is dams.
Yeah.
Yeah, different. Bull trout are migratory a lot like salmon, except with a freshwater version of that.
Oh.
So those big migratory ones that you see grew up in a lake.
Oh, like Flathead.
Usually a big one like Flathead or Lake Pend Oreille in Idaho, those big lakes like that. They grew up in one of those, and then they migrate sometimes hundreds of miles to they would prefer to prefer to migrate hundreds of miles. They're not able to anymore because of a lot of the dams.
Wow, yeah, I never even thought about it. The first brown trout I ever caught was in the Missouri, just down from the Dearborn, which is just down from the dam at Holter, in the Downriver Dam, I guess, the downside. And is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think. I was like all pumped. It was huge. It was a huge brown trout at my grandparents' place, and man, I never knew that they were migratory. That was as far as that poor guy was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, they there's you can get really nerdy about bull trout. There's different versions. Some are migratory, like the big ones. Some live in the big river, and then we have our residents where they live in the smaller streams.
Oh, gotcha.
And they are smaller fish in general. But yeah, between the bull trout and cutthroat and other native fish, that's why people were so upset about that vehicle driving down. And it is a huge monetary effect. Recreation is a huge economic driver here in western Montana, especially the fly fishing and the guide industry and the river industry in general. Like, that's a huge part of our summer revenue here.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, and touch people's money, man, they get mad.
Oh, totally, yeah. And they're like zen, part of their zen life. Like, people come out to fish, and like even just us locals who go out there and just wet a line. Like, there is. I mean, even if I don't catch a fish, there's just something magic about being out in the river and just whipping the water and, hoping, like I'll float it where I think I'm going to get, like where I can see them rising, or I can see some other flies kind of pulling around. I'm like, oh, yeah. And, I'm horrible at it. But it's such a great thing to do.
Yeah, and it is important. And it's a special thing out here in western Montana that we have relatively, compared to the rest of the country, low angler numbers. Like you're not stacked up on top of each other, like fishing shoulder to shoulder, like in some areas.
Walk across the river and not get your feet wet because all the rafts.
Exactly.
Or drift boats.
Yeah, and so people come here for that, and they want to see that. And when you see a giant sherp,
yeah,
running down the river, that totally messes it up. And, that's why I'm a fisheries biologist. That's why people come fishing, is to get that, that zen feeling.
Yeah, just the peace and the nothing. Like, you don't typically have your phone on you, because like, especially you're wade fishing because you're in the river, you don't want to lose a sucker, and so like, yeah, it's just you in the water and the sound of the water, just like even like curling around your legs, and it's so nice. But speaking of fishing, I almost forgot about this. You've probably done this a couple times, but I was talking to Mike and he showed me some photos. You guys fishing in, was it Belize? Where were you guys at? Bone fishing or something?
We went fishing in Belize.
Awesome. Was it amazing?
Yes, it was. I don't fly fish. It might surprise a lot of people, but I don't fly fish that often anymore. I talk fish all day. Yeah. I'm in the water all day.
I know, if you're coming from the West Fork, you're probably getting in the river on your way home, is what I was thinking.
No, I am tired and I would like to go home and cook dinner.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
But so I don't fly fish that often. So to go to Belize, we went there in January, first vacation that we've been on in a very, very long time. And Belize, for all those fly fishers, is just like tarpon and bonefish, capital of the world, right?
So amazing, yeah.
It was a blast. It wasn't quite tarpon season. They weren't up in the flats. It was kind of the wrong time to fish for them on the flat, and that that iconic 100-yard cast.
Yeah.
But
that nice big roll.
Yeah. No, we weren't able to do that. We were fishing the mangroves, but it was still amazing. And sight fishing for bonefish is a trip. If you've never done it, I would highly recommend.
You just see this little shiny thing moving around, or?
Yeah, they roam around in little packs of 4 to 10 fish, and you've got your guide on the back who's spotting them, and then we're all standing up to just trying to spot them, and you're sight fishing for them.
That is cool.
And casting for them. They're really skittish though, and so you have to place, be really good about your nice light placement of the fly, and not spook them, and make sure they don't see you. And yeah, it was a ride. That was fun. And we caught a couple other incidentals there as well, which was fun. There's one on my Instagram of my husband caught this little tiny permit.
Oh,
You know,
really?
yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
size of a silver dollar, and
Oh.
yes, you appreciate the fish's tenacity, because he took a really big streamer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez,
You
yeah.
have to impress
Yeah,
them, yeah.
Big appetite on that little guy.
Exactly.
That is cool. And those bonefish are super fast too, right? They just kind of streak across, or
Yeah, they're. I mean, it ruined trout fishing for me unless I kept getting into like steelhead or targeting trout in Kamchatka or something.
yeah.
They'll take your fly and they just rip, and they get way into your backing.
Yes.
And
oh my god, it sounds
yeah,
amazing.
right. But you're fishing with a 5 weight, 6 weight. It's
That's
the same
gonna
that you'd be
ask.
fishing here in the rivers, and so it's a pretty light, because bonefish are not big. They're 18 inches maybe
Yeah.
max. So you can't be using a big 8 weight, 9 weight to hold them. Rip their face off pretty
Yeah.
much. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's fun.
That
It's
is
fun.
so fun. Yeah, and that's the old saying is like the tug is a drug on a fly rod.
Oh,
It
yeah.
totally is, because I caught a lot of fish, even bass on just like a regular reel, like spin reel or something. And like even just a little brown on, like you said, like a 5 weight or something, or like a 4 weight. Holy cow! Like you're like, oh man, I got like a tuna on here.
Yeah.
Like it's when you got a lot of fighting them.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It was. So that was a good time. Would love to go back.
Yeah, me and my wife have been planning. We were up in the air when I turned 30, whether to go to Cabo or go to Belize. And we just ran into one of our friends who had a bad experience in Belize, and so he kind of like, go to Cabo. It's super easy, and so we did. And I wish I would have known more about the fishing in Cabo, because then a bunch of my jumper bros go. Well, everyone's starting to settle down, so it's not. But it was an annual trip they were doing, and they go down to like Cabo and then fish both sides, like the Sea of Cortez and the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to know some guys down there, so they were able to like rent a boat, and it sounded amazing. My one friend Glenn, he caught this huge marlin, and it was so big that it was easier for him to gut it and like flay it out, I think, in the water. It was
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, and he's like, "This is what you guys do?" Like, yeah, just do it. And I was like, dude, that would have took some coaxing for me, I think.
Wow.
Like, like pretty deep water. You just like gonna go spill a bunch of blood in the water and then stick this thing back in the boat. Like, I feel like that was just like
Yeah, but
calling sharks in, but I guess not.
I mean, if that's also what they're fishing for, then you're basically chumming the water.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they could be doing and those
Oh.
big fish are predatory too, right? So that brings those other fish in. So
So you might get more marlin coming in?
yeah,
Oh.
and other deep sea fish.
So I just keep them like, jaws.
Yeah.
I keep thinking like great whites coming in.
No, the marlins, because the reason they're so fast is because they're predatory.
Oh, yeah, aggressive, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of see that, I guess, like ramming boats and stuff, right? If they're coming in,
Yeah.
like they're pretty aggressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, all those fish, tuna, marlin, they're all fast because they're big fish eaters.
Yeah, makes
predators.
sense. Yeah. Gee, I caught a tuna that was maybe between like me and you lengthwise. And so small as a tuna size. A lot of people are catching monster tuna. And it was this little football guy. But I thought it was a monster. Like, I was like, oh my God, I was off the coast of New Jersey. And I was so pumped. I was 18 years old. I
Cool.
was like, this is so cool. And then that little sucker comes up and I was like, that wasn't that big of a fight, And I was like sweating and like dying because I wasn't in the chair. I was
Yeah.
like, I had like the belt thing on, So I was like up against the edge and I'm working it, and like I'm just dying by the end of it. My hands, my forearms like kind of cramped up, and this little tuna pops up. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a real experience. That's ocean fishing for you.
Yeah, the amount of muscle in those
Them
things.
things are strong.
Holy cow.
Yeah, most freshwater fish have nothing on.
Yeah, it was
on
crazy.
those.
I couldn't imagine like hooking a big one. My brother-in-law
Yeah.
caught one, and he's 6'5", and he had like the fins underneath his armpits, and it was kind of curled on the deck. Like the head was on the ground, and he's holding it just under like the big tail fin, and like said it was under his armpits, and 6'5", and this thing was probably almost as tall as him if he could have got it up. It was huge. It's like I couldn't even imagine trying to reel that sucker in. Like,
Well, they take turns
oh, that
reeling
makes
it in.
sense.
That's what they do. They wait till one guy gets tired, and then they switch out.
Yeah, because
and they help reel it in.
I don't think there's any way I could do it. I mean, maybe in the chair would help, I guess, but
Yeah. When you see, I've never fished on a deep sea boat, but you see their setups, and they've got chairs and these like really beefy braces for all these guys, and it's because
yeah.
those things are, you're fighting Yeah, 200-pound fish.
Yeah, I was gonna say the tuna's probably about that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big. Holy cow! But kind of made me feel bad about my little guy. I was like, oh, damn it, that thing wore me out. It was super cool because we got to do. I was working for a taxidermy company in, I think it was Cape Horn Taxidermy was the name, in Whitehall. It's not there anymore, but they did big mountains. And the guy who I was working for, his name was John Luton, and because he had been doing taxidermy so long and these really high-end clients, he could identify a world record from like long ways away. So like he would get paid to go on all these big guided hunts for like African animals and elk and bighorn sheep. I think was one of his specialties. But because taxidermy, he had a great eye, and so this one guy did what's it called, the Grand Slam, where you get like all the bighorn sheep around the world, which is hard to do because some of them are like. One's like in the Middle East, like in Afghanistan or something. And
there's all special draw permits. They'd get lucky enough to draw them.
Yeah, or pay a ton of money. And this guy paid a ton of money. Yeah. And so he had like a guest house that he would just turn into a trophy house, and he wanted us to build a foam mountain like you see in Cabela's. And that's what another specialty this guy did, was build foam mountains, John Luton. And so we got all our foam pieces made in the shop before we went down there. And then at the end of the summer, we drove it all down to a big trailer and pieced together the mountain and stuff. And it was really cool. And John Luton was also, is like a pretty good artist, man. He could piece that thing together, like very real, and then had ledges built up for the sheep. But because we're doing such a good job and the guy appreciated us, he's like, he had his own fishing boat. He's like, you guys take a break tomorrow, go fishing. And like, I'm thinking like a little boat.
Yeah.
And then he's like, we got to leave super early, so best thing to do is show up at like, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night. And he had berths, and we each had our own little berth, slept in it, rolled out at like, I don't know, 4 in the morning or something, 3 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, while we were sleeping, the captain got on and took us, and I didn't really sleep. I was so excited. So I heard everything fire up. We trolled out, and I like popped out and like just was watching the sun come up, and then, got the lines out and started cruising around. It was super cool.
Man. Yeah. To have access to it. Gotta have friends usually good friends for that sort of experience usually.
It was crazy. Like looking back on it, like as a kid, everything's coming at you as your kid. So like everything's new and amazing. So it's just like, wow, this is cool. But then like we brought our fish back in. We all caught tunas, and I think 3 of us, I think we brought 3 back with us, and he had his own private chef, of course. And he's like, you guys go get cleaned up, come back, dinner's at 7 or whatever it was. Came back, fresh tuna. And I got to just talking with the chef, and he's like, it's going to be amazing right now. Tomorrow, not so much. The next day, really not so much. After that, you don't really want to mess with it because it's going to get real bad real fast.
Really? So, yeah. For the tuna meat?
For the tuna meat.
As far as like his like edibility, or for like the flavor?
Flavor, yeah.
Oh, so he had some high expectations.
Yeah, because you could still eat it. And I think I was eating on it for like a week. But it was, the first night though, it didn't even taste like any tuna I ever had because it was so fresh,
Wow, yeah.
It was so amazing. Best fish I ever had, and I'm sure there's better out there, but best I ever had. It was incredible.
Yeah, you can't really beat fresh off the boat.
Yeah.
Fish.
Yeah, totally. So like living somewhere like, I don't know, Maine or where else you get some fresh fish would be amazing. Seattle probably.
Yeah.
Pike's Market, right?
Lucky people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm probably keeping you here too long. How long have you been
it's fine.
How long do you think we've been at it? Do you want to take a stab at how long we've been talking?
I think we're right at an hour.
You are good, yeah. 58 minutes. I'll check my notes real quick. But one of the last things I was going to ask you is, what, if anything, do you miss anything about fire?
Oh, yeah. I miss, and I know a lot of people talk about this, just the camaraderie and like the group dynamic that you develop, right, with your crew.
Yes.
And the type of shit that you talk about. Yes. And who you would never talk about to anyone in any other professional situation. And I always had this theory that I tended to prove was you start, and I loved this process where you start out as a relatively orderly and appropriate human at the beginning of the fire season. Yes. And you just slowly devolve into this like knuckle dragging, and all it is like fart jokes and yes. like how your body processed your your MRE the other day, right?
Yes.
Like, or didn't process your
Yes.
MRE.
Or, yeah, you're still fighting with it.
Right.
Yes.
And so, like, I love and I miss that aspect.
Same.
It's just it's a experience that very few, it's firefighters and it's military, and the only people that really experience that type of camaraderie are those who work with a group of people under pretty traumatic and intense and stressful situations, right?
Yes.
Like, and that the coping mechanisms that you have to develop in order to get through that, and in order to still trust and work with your crew through a whole season is something you just don't. I miss it. I don't miss hiking my ass up a mountain every day anymore. At least not unwillingly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, it kind of ruined me for that, a little bit of outdoor recreation for a while. Like, I was hating sleeping outside. I was hating tents, and I was definitely hating hiking because it's just like you get forced to do it. And you're just not like a fun thing. You're like, there's a fire up there. There's no hell spot. There's no other way to get to it. There you go.
Yeah, and I was only ever like a local district, except for, well, Helltack even was a forest resource. I was a local resource. I was on the district. I was on the engine. So I was never a hotshot, never a jumper or anything like that. And it's the local, district crews that are like, there's a fire
I
up
was gonna say
2 miles up that mountain, and there is no roads. And there's no jump spots for the jumpers. So you guys are hiking.
it's all yours. Yes.
Have fun.
I was just gonna say, 'cause, yeah, I think my most brutal hikes were just local, like when I was in the local district, because like you said, it's all on you. It's your ownership, and there's no one coming to back you up.
Right. Yeah. Because the shot crews and jumpers are incredibly fit, but often they're on. There's exceptions, always exceptions, but often they're on big fires where they need lots of resources and skilled resources, and hiking up as an initial attack firefighter to these like extremely remote. Also, you see some of the coolest country, right?
Yeah, stuff that's off the beaten path that you wouldn't. If there wasn't a fire there's a lot of places I wouldn't even ever gone.
Right.
You know?
One of my favorite assignments is wasn't even really a fire assignment. I was working on the West Fork as a firefighter. It was my second season. And they needed someone to literally just act as a human repeater. The cellway is so remote that even with as many lookouts as we have out there, there's spots where it's just radio dead zones.
Yeah.
And so they flew me and a buddy up to act as a human repeater just for a group of like 6 rappellers that were on this fire down in Cooper's Flat.
Oh, whoa.
On a fire, and I was up on Watchtower, and we spent 3 days up there just making sure those guys are okay. And
couldn't be on a better spot.
Oh my gosh,
either.
yeah, like you're on,
Oh.
Watchtower. So you're at the top of the Bitterroots, and you can see for like 50 miles out into the wilderness, and then another 50 across the valley into the AP, and it's pretty special.
That's really special. Yeah, those are things I miss about fire too. And like you said, just like the shit talk that like you said, especially towards the end of the season, while the filters are off, and like it's funny because you'll like for me, I'd be especially in the district, I'd just be like making sure I got all my stuff together and going through the motions, almost in a bit of a brain fog because you're like fatigued, no sleep, you've been eating like shit, and then all of a sudden like in the engine bay or something, someone will say something that's just like the most funniest thing on earth, and you're like, what in the like, where did that even come from? But that is killing me.
The shit that people get up to when they're waiting for something, for someone to make a decision. And I think military could really relate to that. It was the hurry up and wait mentality, right? And they're really good at it. You get really good at it, and really good, especially on the West Fork and some of these other places that we've got no cell service. There's very little options to entertain ourselves anymore.
Yes.
And so you literally just have like what you can find and your buddies that are around that happen to be with you that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I miss that
Me
stuff.
Too. Yeah, I miss having to be like gone so much, and like you were talking, like the hikes, the long nights, and it was kind of killing my outdoor spirit a little bit because as soon as I get done with fire season, I'm like I want air conditioning.
Yep.
I want a shower.
Yep.
Like I don't want to go outside for a while.
Regular like full meals that aren't bought out of a grocery store for 6 months of the year.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, a good home cooked meal tastes so much better after a fire season.
Yes.
And taking the time to do it and not having to rush to anything, I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee that's like, at the coffee maker was always nice.
Right. And those like creature comforts that you don't realize you take it for granted, like, oh my gosh, I get to walk to the farmer's market today, right?
Yes.
Or, oh, we're going camping in the summertime when most people go camping.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So.
Was there any like, each crew almost seems like that has their thing, and some stuff just like flows through all fire, like Zins, and then like Mios. Did you ever get in the Mio caffeine game? Like those little Mio shot things.
No, I didn't. Yeah, that wasn't really a thing for me.
Like for the
shooting.
crew, really?
Actually, I think Micah started this trend. Micah and his buddy Aaron.
I don't know Aaron. I don't think.
Oh, his last name's escaping me right now. So it wasn't Mios and it wasn't emergencies, although emergencies were a thing, but that's kind of ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Drinking instant coffee in a cold water bottle and chugging it.
Oh.
That was the thing.
Ooh.
And that was Micah. That was my husband.
Yeah.
His creation, and he's like, it's the best thing ever, because we're all like horrible caffeine addicts, right?
Totally, yeah.
Terrible. So
that's how the Mio thing started on the crew I was on. Like everyone had it, and then like the sniffy snuff too was like a big thing on the Great Northern when I was crew bossing them.
Oh, really? Well, that's hardcore.
It is, cool. Yeah. Oh, and those kids were like finding it. They like want to go on a trip or get something sent to them or order some, and like it seemed like every time I turned around, one of them had like a new little canister of the little sniffy snuff. They're like, "Yeah, you want some?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. I think the West Fork tended to hire more little crunchier people.
Oh yeah.
And so for a while, like the thing was like chewing Red Man and like any of the tobacco that came in a bag.
Yeah. Beech nut and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was a thing for a while.
Yeah, I always preferred that too, because like it didn't seem as like it was getting kind of like the chemical-y nicotine rush, and then it also like kind of gave you something to do to like chew on the leaf. You know?
Yeah. I didn't partake in any of that.
Good for you, because it kind of gets everybody.
You
it turn
does.
around like the innocent kid on the crew's got like a lipper, and you're like, who talked him into it?
You know, I've tried it all. I am just the least likely. Like, I don't think you could make me an addict of anything. Well, except for caffeine.
Same. Yeah.
Like, it just I'm one of those lucky few that like, I tried it. Cool. Yeah. Don't feel like I need it. But I'm trying to think of anything else that was like trendy.
I know, like I was talking to Sam Sulapik, Lookout Sam, on the last podcast, and I was trying to explain this like Medagalo. I gotta get a can of it so I can like show the camera. But it was espresso instant, and that was like a huge thing when I first got in. It was like a little glass jar, and so people were doing that, and then he was saying like people were like taking like direct like little dozer shots with it, and just super. It tasted awful. I did not like it, but it, like you said, the caffeine just kept you going, and that's the only reason why I ever like any other stuff. I remember we're on the Wallow fire, which is at the time was the biggest fire in Arizona history, and we were doing night shift, and I was kind of like they didn't call them this back then, but they were like fire operator or engine operators or something, whatever the 5 is, like fire engine operator or something. So I was like in that position.
Oh, like engine squatty?
Yeah, like an engine squatty, exactly. Yeah, and so I was like in that position. So like I was, and I guess instructor fire teams would be the engineer because I was the one driving, and so they bet us down for like 2 hours. They're like, get a little bit of nap on the clock so you can drive out in the morning. I'm like, so it was almost worse. But like those were the times I'd chew, because I was the same way. I was like, I'm not really doing anything for me, the chew stuff, and anything else. Like luckily I don't have that addictive personality, which is amazing because I'm Irish and native. So I got the recipe. I just don't quite have it. I don't know.
Where did that gene skip you somewhere?
I don't know. That's what I'm worried about. Like maybe it's just waiting to come out.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, like I just threw in a chew to get back to camp, and because the caffeine wasn't really working. So.
Yeah, we all have those like nightmare shift memories, don't we?
Yeah.
I have one of those too. I actually Sam, and I worked in Sula together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't. That was my last season, 2017.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was engine and he was hand crew. So it was cool to hear him on the podcast and I worked with Doc too.
Oh, really? Yeah. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of big brains in those guys,
Yeah,
hey?
man, smart cookie.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Doc, he's still like in school doing something. Yeah, probably just building rockets eventually, whatever he's going to do with that big brain of his.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Did you guys end up on the Lola Peak fire then, when it came ripping down?
I did. I was on, I'm sorry, I was with Sam. No, it was the 17 season. Lola Peak was the year before. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting my seasons mixed up.
No, I think 17 was Lola Peak.
It was 17.
Yeah.
I wound up there on a helitack assignment because I had my HECM.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
good. Were you up Highway 12 then?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm asking is because I think we might have crossed paths and not like known it, because it is like when resources are coming and going, and I was running the engine for the Missoula district, and
okay.
we came and stopped in a few times at the heli base, wherever it was, up Highway 12.
Yep. Yeah, I was up there. I
cool.
staffed that for 2 weeks.
Oh, really? Yeah, we had to pass each other because I was on there like every day.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool about fire? Like if you have like the same timeline, it's like, all right, we probably crossed paths. You just talk to them long enough, and you're like, that's where it was.
Yep. Yep. Bound to have crossed paths at some point.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I bumped into the old Missoula foreman at a nursery. Like he works there now. He's retired.
Awesome.
Yeah, he just we walked by each other, and I was there looking at plants this spring, and I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah, that's familiar.
And he squinted at me, but he was talking to another customer, and we walked by again. And I was like, I know you. And he's like, well, I worked for the Forest Service. I was like,
yes.
You were in fire. And I was like, you taught I knew him. He Missoula foreman, but
I'm trying to think who was there when I was there. Stryker was one of them. Now he's the FMO. I can't remember who the other foreman was.
I keep wanting to say Jay, but it's not Jay.
I can't remember.
Mike.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of his last name now.
I can picture his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he taught my
Single Resource Plus?
No, he taught my intro to firefighter class.
Oh, really? Cool. Like RT 130 or something like that?
Yeah, my very first rookie season.
Very cool.
He taught that.
Yeah.
So anyway, just you run into people all the time, and
yeah, that's very cool. Oh, geez, I didn't now it's like the memory of Mike's flooding back, because he was gone the whole season in 17 pretty much on a detail somewhere.
Yeah, that's why I knew him, because he detailed down at Darby.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. God dang, what is the last? Man, I haven't thought about that guy since 17. That's awesome.
I know.
Yeah,
I can't.
Good dude. I really liked it. Like, he came back and we worked together for a little while before. I was still at the jump base. I was on a detail. So I went back to the jump base, and yeah, it was cool. Like, just getting to hear his perspective on stuff, because he had been around a bit,
Yeah. Yeah, I was on the Lolo when that fatality. Were you on shift when that happened?
No, I think it was my R&R day, but yeah, I think my friend Mike King was a division on that. It was like a real bad deal.
Yeah, I have EMT as well.
Oh yeah.
So we were ready to jump in the helicopter,
yeah,
and go help with that, but then ended up unfortunately not needing our help.
Yeah, it was a tree strike, right?
Tree strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
That was the season, because remember there's the Rice Ridge fatality.
And
there was that one. And then the year before was
Justin,
BB.
yeah.
Off the Lolo. And then there was a big entrapment on the Sunrise, which was up Superior, and I was on that one too.
There's a couple years there, because my rookie season 13 was the Arizona shot.
Yeah, the Granite Mountain. Yeah, Yarnell
Granite
Hill.
Mountain, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, Yarnell Fire.
Yeah. And that's, I think, part of when I was getting burned out with fire a little bit, because it felt like this net was closing on me a little bit, because my rookie year, that was my rookie jump year, was 13. So this fellow named Luke Sheehy, another limb strike, he died, and sounded like an awesome guy. Met his dad, awesome guy. And that was during my rookie training. So they shut the jump program down for a week until they could do the investigation and see what happened.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and it was a tough deal, because his name being Luke and my name being Luke, and people not exactly connecting the dots on where I was at my I didn't really tell anybody. And so I got a flood of phone calls and text messages that night, and yeah, it was a bomb deal, and it makes it a little worse. You're like, no, I'm good. Then you feel bad that guy's not, but. And then, yeah, it just felt like it was building, because then the Granite Mountain thing was a huge gut punch to the whole fire community. I was like, what? The whole shot crew?
Yeah. And that was my introduction to fire. Like I was
brutal start.
Like 6 weeks into my rookie season, and we were down in New Mexico in Meg, doing a severity assignment, and so we were close.
That's close, yes.
Yeah, so this is a few forests over.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, it hit us like a truck when we were down there.
Holy cow! Yeah, I remember like my world stopped, and I was in McCall on a boost, and I was like, someone said something, and then it was on the news, and I was like looking up at the monitor above the ops desk, and I was like, what in the world?
I'd be curious to find out, like, you know how a lot of people ask, what were you doing when 9/11 happened, right? Everyone remembers like what they were doing. I have a theory that most people who were in fire during that season knew exactly what they were doing when they heard about that incident.
I bet you're right. I never thought about it because like we both knew exactly where we were. I could go stand where I was standing that day. You know, like exactly probably. Yeah, it was nuts, and I remember even being in disbelief. I was like, "Are they sure?" you know, like a whole shot crew. Are they sure?
Right.
You know, because it's just, and I still think hot shots are just incredible. It's like for that to happen to a whole shot crew, so like you're saying, some of the top firefighters. It's like. It was that's where the disbelief was, like, because these are invincible people to me at the time.
Yes.
You know, so I'm like, there's no way. You
know?
No,
these are the elites. These are the highly trained and the
best.
Safety, like.
Yeah.
Safety is important to all firefighters and all crews, but.
I gotta move that damn light.
Oh.
Keeps getting you.
I once had a crew member call my hair as defying gravity.
Yeah. Just stands up.
Yeah, he just couldn't understand how I made this like messy bun do what it does.
Just stay what it is. Yeah. A little bit of ash and a little bit.
Yeah, he was like, "How does that fit under your helmet?" I was like, "Magic."
It's got to be hot.
Yeah. Yes.
Like under the fire hat, the hard hat.
Yes. Yeah. You men with your short hair and just you just put your hard hat on and pull it off, on and off.
And even when I grew mine out, it's like it's not as thick. You know, there's a lot of women's hair. So like it would just kind of like flow out, anyways. You know, like don't have time to get a cut during the summer, and then it's also the opposite. I have short hair in the winter and long hair in the summer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, for most people, the opposite of that. But and the last thing I want to touch on, I guess, before I let you go, is the roadless area, and I more just want to get it out as like a public service announcement, and just like people to be aware of it and like pay attention, because I think in the wild Montana, I can't remember the gal's name, Hillary maybe, folks, it's on the wild Montana like Instagram, and this gal gave a really good description of what it is. It was an act that came in 2001 to prohibit roads in current roadless areas like the Bob Marshall, right? And
yes,
probably a lot of wilderness areas, probably, right?
Close, as I understand it, and I'm definitely no expert on roadless areas, but it was actually meant for roadless areas that were not currently protected under wilderness, any of those special weather. Let me say that over again.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of ideas that started all at once.
Yeah.
The Roadless Act was meant to protect areas that were currently roadless that were not already protected by some other legislation, whether that was wilderness, wild and scenic rivers, or national parks or anything like that. There's also a couple areas that are like wilderness study areas, which are basically areas that they're considering to turn to wilderness. And so anything that wasn't already protected by anything like that were these like certain areas on national forest land that they designated as capital R roadless.
Oh, yeah. More than I thought, though. Like when she said 6 million, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of acreage.
Yeah, it is a lot of... It is and it isn't. Nationwide, it's a lot of acreage.
I think she was saying just in Montana. I thought she was saying like just 6 million acres that are getting threatened.
I believe that. I mean, we have such a large area that is simply federal land and national forest land in general.
Yeah, true.
And they do tend to be these very hard to access and wilderness adjacent areas that are pretty wild. And a lot of areas in Montana are that way, right?
Yeah.
They didn't build roads there because it was too expensive and too hard to maintain. And so there's a reason that they're roadless.
Yeah.
So
I gotta look at the video real quick so I can get the name. But yeah, and that's what she was saying too, is like your favorite areas are probably roadless areas.
yes.
And then she was talking about like the effect of our drinking water, our dang it. We protect from fires a lot of times. Water.
The word is, why can't we, what's going on with our words today?
Oh, I know. It's Friday. It's hot.
It's Friday and it's hot.
Wow, man. It's like a basin where we get our drinking water.
Municipal watersheds.
Watersheds. Yep. That's exactly what I was, yeah. And
A lot of these areas are municipal watersheds. A lot of these areas are western Montana and a lot of the northern and Intermountain West, Northern Rockies, Intermountain West. Their drinking water still is surface water derived, whether it's from a stream or the stream feeds the aquifer or something like that. And so these higher up areas are the source waters for these. If they're not the municipal watershed, they're the source waters for them. And roads necessarily impact that either through the sediment that washes off them, because a lot of these roads aren't going to be paved. They're just simple native soil dirt roads. And if you don't design those and maintain them well enough, and that would imply that you have the crew and the money and the time to do that.
yeah.
And the whole federal government's going through
Which we don't right
cuts
now.
right now, which
currently.
we don't
Yeah.
have. So the impacts to the municipal watersheds that she's talking about are the sediment and the potential pollution and all these impacts. And if the roads are built, the whole intent of repealing this is to be able to intrude on these areas to log them more easily, right? Because you
Yeah.
can still treat these areas. Right now on the forest, we have plans to do a vegetation management for a roadless area, and it's going to get prescribed burn, and it's going to get no timber harvest, but just some hand thinning and prescribed burned. So these areas are managed.
Yeah.
You just can't log them necessarily because the loggers can't build the roads, and helicopter logging in Montana is really restricted due to grizzly bear. You're restricted how many flights you can do because of grizzly bear habitat. Anyway, so that's the whole point of repealing it, is wanting to be able to access this. And yeah, there's some impacts to the roads
Yeah.
and the watersheds and
then
things like that.
Yeah, and like in 2 point with the logging too is like people don't realize the impact of the logging too, like the aftermath, and a lot of times doesn't get, taken care of by the company. Like Plum Creek, a lot of the land up Highway 12 that the old Plum Creek country owned. I was helping out with the botany program on the Lolo, and so I was doing like weed surveys and driving a lot of those roads, and a lot of them are really overgrown, but it's all like knapweed and noxious weed and stuff, and it's mostly because the logging trucks going in and out, and they just cling to those trucks and spread seeds as they go.
Exactly. And so when you have these roads, you then have all these other, it's not to say that logging is bad. That's not the problem.
No.
The logging is well established. We've got really good methods for that to be like an environmentally sound, environmentally like not a huge detrimental impact. We've got that method down pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's all the other impacts as a result of putting a road into the area. The impact on the wildlife, grizzly bears especially, and wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Road densities really affect that. Elk movement and migration corridors and things like that is affected if you start putting roads in areas.
Yeah, because going up to Gerd Point, you can see where it was an established road already. They had a big logging sale up there, and looks better. Now it's all cleaned up and they're finished with it. And
Yes.
thinned out the area, way less impact if wildfire comes through.
Yeah, it's still a resilient area. Logging does that, right? It helps with fire resiliency, and we don't clear cut it anymore. We do a really calculated approach to that, and so that's not the case against roadless areas.
Yeah.
It's the rest of the impact as a result of putting a road in.
Yeah, there's
And
always,
like you said, the
residuals.
weeds,
Yeah.
residuals, sediment, washouts, the maintenance, the amount of people that you need to maintain a road. I'm involved. I'm a fisheries biologist, and I'm involved in road maintenance because I have to do these certain surveys on how the sediment is washing off the road. Hydrologists are involved in road monitoring and road function. And then you do have the road people, the road maintenance people, the engineers. If a culvert washes out, you got to put an engineer in. You mentioned weeds. That's our range and wilderness crew. So the amount of, when you add more roads, you need the people to help maintain it. And it actually takes a lot of people from a lot of different areas to like monitor and take care of these. And so,
and like the juice worth the squeeze phrase, is the benefit worth all this, right?
Yeah, like, add up all those man hours and add up all the equipment hours for that. And is the timber you get off that going to pay? I don't know.
I don't either.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
And so that's what that's where a lot of these, you said Wild Montana and in other groups. I'm not for or against it. Once I hear, I'm a wait and see person. Once I hear that it's actually happening and we're moving forward with actually trying to put a road in an area that I am aware of and I can look at and analyze, then I'll be able to say, yes, bad idea. Yes, good idea.
Oh yeah. It's a great approach, because then it could be a case by case deal, right? Like you're like, well, there might have been something in there in the past, and it's like, well, they're just going to reopen that up and log it out, and maybe less invasive, I guess, is the word I'm looking for, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I understand why people are really worried, because our administration is developing a reputation for not looking at things very closely, kind of a act first, ask questions later sort of approach, and it makes people worried.
It does.
Rightfully.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and especially, I think all of our hackles are up about public lands already, so anytime something comes up, especially me, like this roadless thing, I was like, again? Like, like, and, but you touched on earlier, you mentioned earlier about it unifying us, which is great, because hunters, anglers, more of the, just like kind of back country hippie granola folks, we're like, we all came together on this, and we're like, it's a bad idea. Like, we want our public lands, like it's ours, it's everyone's, like the whole public. It's like, it doesn't matter if you live in downtown New York City, but if you want to get away, you want to go out to the Adirondacks, maybe you want to go to the Rocky Mountains, like there's these places you can go, these magical places, and they're yours. You can go whenever you want.
Yes.
And if it goes away, like I mentioned this to Travis Hall, I was like, if I'm super billionaire rich, and someone's like, hey, you want Yosemite and I can afford it? Yeah, I'm gonna buy Yosemite.
Right.
Like, and it's gonna be mine.
Right.
And I'm gonna put a huge fence around it. I'm not letting anyone in because it's mine.
And a lot of these, and it's bound us together. And the reason I'm trying to tie in this idea that these areas are roadless, but they're not inaccessible.
Yes, that's great. Yeah.
There's trails that go through there. There's ATV trails. Like, people can still access these and use these areas. And even hunters and backpackers and motorcyclists and, mountain bike, all of these people, horsemen, these are areas that are still accessible. We have trails that go through this, and it's a usable area. There's just no roads that a Jeep or bigger can go through, but ATVs can, and things like that. We've got all over the West Fork. We've got these areas. Totally,
which makes it more magical, because then you can like float, like going through the middle fork of the salmon. You float through this wild country that no one can drive to.
Yes, and that's the beauty of that, right? And which is why a lot of people are like, okay, we're really worried. We like this area because it's roadless. We go because it's roadless.
Yeah, because it's unless you go to Alaska, there's not too many places like that in the lower 48.
No. I mean, the area, what's the point is somewhere in Yellowstone. That's the farthest from any road, and it's only 28 miles.
Oh, really? I didn't know it was in Yellowstone. I knew it was 28 miles, because I remember when I first got that information, I think I was jumping on Missoula. I think it was in 2015. And I remember thinking, like, well, if I ever get super lost, I just like head in one direction.
And it won't be that far of a walk.
That's what I was thinking. I can walk 28 miles.
Yeah.
So that was in my head always. Like, if I'm like demobbing a fire and somehow I get turned around.
Yeah, and it's understandable that people want to protect that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, shoot, that's probably a good way to end her. Do you want to shoot out your social media one more time for folks?
Yeah, so I'm only really on Instagram. I only have Facebook for the marketplace.
Yes, same.
So my Instagram handle is girl with a magpie tattoo.
It's cool because you do a lot of stuff, like super informative. You have a cat that brings you giant beetles. That thing
was so
was the biggest beetle I think I've ever seen.
It was enormous. It was the biggest Montana beetle I've ever seen. And he brought it in twice.
Twice? He came back?
Yeah. I put him outside, and he brought it in twice. So yeah, I'm getting more active on my Instagram as a more like a science information conservation angle.
Yeah, it's huge, and it shows the importance of the job and the stuff you do and the why, right? Like it's not like I think in the past, because of no social media and everyone being kind of afraid to post of the land management agencies, because you're like, I don't want to get in trouble. But I think it's starting to get embraced because like I think it helps people understand like we're not out there to get you. We're out there just to like help keep the balance of us on the landscape and animals on the landscape and keep everything as healthy as we can. And
it's this whole idea of we're public land stewards. Like we're taking care of the land that the taxpayers pay for. That is your land. That is not the senator's land. It's not the president's land. It is the public's land. And we're here. Our job is literally to take care of it for you. And so it's coming from that angle. Also, just a girl in a male-dominated field in science and in fisheries. So that angle as well is a good.
Yeah, let's promote more of that. And everyone knows who's ever been on any crew, having males and females together is way more fun than just having just dudes or just chicks, I imagine. It's never, not being a dude, I've never been in just chicks, but, I've been on fire crews where it's just dudes. And it's not as fun.
Diversity is good.
It is. And ideas-wise, too, because I had this analogy I was talking to somebody about. It's like, say, like, you got two people who've been in charge of a crew about the same time, or been on the fire crew at the same time, and they're both, like, the seniors, right, guy and girl. And maybe the guy's a little more meathead and he's just hard charger. And then the girl's like, hey, man, let's take a quick second. Let's I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. And, like, gives it maybe that pause button. And it could go either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the guy could be the pause button and the girl could be the pause button. But it's like, I think having that male or female can be more of a pause button because noticing different things, right? Like
not
always, but
different brains, different experiences.
Yes.
Is never a bad thing.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah, and you see in little kids, like typically boys are more like rough and tumble, and like because I have a daughter and a son, so like he's more rough and tumble and she's more like thought out, you know. So it's a great balance.
It is.
So I definitely encourage more females in the public land world, in the land management business.
That's it would be great to see more of us and more women in fisheries science. It is a very male-dominated field. A lot of their stories is, well, I went fishing with my dad when I was young, and then I became a fisheries manager, and that's a lot of it. That's not my story, and that's probably a good thing, right? Again, diversity of ideas, diversity of opinions and approaches, different ideas. So, so that's kind of my hope with that whole thing too.
Yeah, me too. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for asking me.
Yeah, and thanks for tuning in, folks. Appreciate you.